Football, £2 billion to own Manchester United. Like, share and subscribe. Episode 1. On June 19, 2005, a shocking news swept the world at an astonishing speed. The Times. It is reported that Manchester United has completed all the procedures for the equity transfer today, and the new owner of Manchester United is not Malcolm Glazer, but a mysterious rich man from China. The Sun. Manchester United will hold a press conference tomorrow, and Manchester United CEO David Gill will officially announce the club's new president. Who will end up spending this contest of capital? Marca newspaper. Manchester United have welcomed their new owner, rumored to be an oil tycoon from the Middle East. Newspaper as Real Madrid's most loyal mouthpiece. How will Manchester United's new shareholders change European football? We don't think capital is a big factor in changing football. On June 20, 2005, nearly a month of acquisition turmoil finally came to an end, and Manchester United Football Club was finally mysteriously acquired for £1.95 billion. In the press conference hall of the Carrington training base, a large number of media reporters have been waiting here. Before the start of the press conference, the whole hall seems a little noisy. Some familiar reporters are discussing and exchanging some important information in their hands. Until today, they are also curious who is so rich and can successfully acquire Manchester United, one of the best clubs in the world. As Manchester United CEO David Gill stepped into the press conference seat under countless spotlights, he adjusted the microphone slightly. The press conference is now officially started. First of all, we invite former chairman of the board J.P. McManus speaks. With J.P. McManus spoke, the reporters below showed shocked expressions. The Glazer family's acquisition of Manchester United really failed? There are still some people who can't believe that Malcolm Glazer, the country capitalist who is bound to win Manchester United, will fail to buy it. J.P. McManus smiled and replied, "Actually, Malcolm's price is already very attractive, but there is one in the East who offers an even more attractive price. If there is no way, who will not live with money? Also, it's not our board members who promised to build a truly brilliant Manchester United dynasty, so I would like to say to the fans who love Manchester United, since we have chosen to believe in him, we hope that you can support him in the days to come." After P. McManus finished speaking, a Times reporter asked, "Can we know the name of the new boss?" J.P. McManus smiled and said, "Tan Wenla." After Manchester United's official announcement, Manchester United entered the era of private ownership, and a mysterious rich man from China controlled all the equity and property rights of Manchester United. Shortly after Manchester United became a private company, Manchester United officially announced that La Liga Sevilla FC youngster Ramos joined Manchester United for a sky-high transfer fee of €3,000. This move drew even more frantic cheers from Manchester United fans. Manchester United fans were very resistant to the Glazer family taking over Manchester United. They believed that if the Glazer family took over, then their favorite Manchester United would become the Glazer family's money-absorbing machine, but lose the taste of pure football. At this time, the country in China has also fallen into madness. Overwhelming news reports have swept the streets. Everyone is talking about it. What is this Tan Wenla? However, this problem that plagued the Chinese people lasted for 3 whole years without being revealed. Who is so rich and powerful to secretly buy Premier League giants Manchester United? On May 21, 2008, the Champions League final was held in Moscow, Russia, against Manchester United versus Chelsea, both from the Premier League. After 120 minutes of fierce fighting, the score was 1-1, and United beat Chelsea 6-5 on penalties to win the European title for the 3rd time in history. However, just days after Manchester United's triumph, star Cristiano Ronaldo arrived at manager Alex Ferguson's office, and the two talked at length for a long time. At the same time, the media have reported that Ronaldo is preparing to transfer to Real Madrid, and Real Madrid club president Calderon has also spoken, claiming that Manchester United treats Ronaldo as a slave and does not allow players to go to the team they want to go. In 2008, Huaxia, Jiangzhou City No. 1 Middle School and High School Class 1. Ding. Congratulations to the host club for winning the 0708 Champions League. Ding. Champion reward, €5,000 can be diverted. Transfer funds are being distributed. Ding. After the reward is distributed, the current host can divert the balance of transfer funds. My name is Tan Wenla, and I am a crosser from 20 years later. Like the usual traversers, I used a very awesome system, the 100 billion giant conversion system. The system was awesome and helped me acquire Manchester United. Moreover, it also gave me a reasonable identity, the grandson of a Chinese chief of a Central African tribe. The acquisition of Manchester United's funds, even if someone investigates, is only my inheritance. Because there is a mine at home. As a 30-year Red Devils fan, this makes me both excited, but I have a couple of questions that puzzle me now. I was an orphan in my previous life, but I was still an orphan after Mao crossed. Also, can this crossing process be controlled a little? I was only 15 years old, and although the system helped me buy Manchester United, I couldn't get a passport or visa, and I controlled the team remotely every day. Tan Wenla grew up here, and even after 2 lifetimes, his feelings for this place have never changed. At this time, Tan Wenla received a long-distance call from abroad. "Dear Chairman, I have already completed the admission procedures you asked me to handle. David, I'm so sorry, it's hard for you. Hey Chairman, that's all I should do. Oh yes, is your flight booked? I'll pick you up at the airport in person when the time comes. Well, it's already booked, and I'll be in Manchester at 2 p.m. London time in 7 days. Okay, I'll wait for you at the airport then. Trouble you, David. After the two hung up the phone, Tan Wenla returned to the class. After all, today is the last day of his student period, and after taking the college entrance examination, Tan Wenla will start his own new life. Manchester, I'm finally coming. 7 days later, Tam first arrived in London by plane, from London to Manchester. Episode 2. Tan Wenla looked at the layers of white clouds outside the plane, and wondered in his heart whether he was really about to arrive in Manchester. How it feels like all this is so unreal. Later, Tan Wenla opened the interface of the system again, looked at the account balance displayed above, shook his head slightly and chuckled and said beautiful to himself. And a young British girl sitting next to Tan Wenla couldn't help but throw a big eye at him after hearing Tan Wenla's words. The world is so beautiful. The world is beautiful. Tan Wenla didn't seem to notice the strange appearance of the beautiful woman beside him, and he was still immersed in self-absorption. Take it. At this time, Tan Wenla came back to his senses and looked at the exotic little girl sitting next to him, with a blank expression. I'm sorry, I didn't understand what you meant. Tan Wenla said unhurriedly. The little girl on the side took off her mask, revealing her delicate and pure face, and a pair of brown eyes stared at Tan Wenla with a slight surprise, as if she wanted to hear some answer from Tan Wenla's mouth. The moment she took off her mask, Tan Wenla saw who she was, and couldn't help but exclaim, You're Hermione? Wow, shoo. Emma Watson hurriedly made a move to Tan Wenla to make him quieter. Then, Emma raised her head and looked around, and found that no one was paying attention to them, which was relieved. Tan Wenla also seemed to realize that his voice was a little higher at this time, and hurriedly covered his mouth, looking at the other party a little embarrassed. Emma Watson, the little heroine in Harry Potter who is deeply loved by fans, now appears clearly in front of Tan Wenla, which makes him feel a little incredible, and even a little dreamy. Emma Watson and Tan Wenla are about the same age, and they are now just entering the ranks of adults. Emma has a more cheerful personality, and after seeing the other party's somewhat exaggerated expression of surprise, she believes that if she did not take off the mask, the other party did not seem to recognize her. What did you just think? Why do you say that the world is so beautiful? Oh, hee, I'm an international student from Huaxia country, and I just saw some beautiful scenery, so I can't help but marvel. So that's the case, so which university are you going to? University of Manchester. University of Manchester? Where can you go to study abroad? But they are all top students. Tan Wenla's personality is more sunny and cheerful, plus Emma has the same personality, so the two talked and laughed. When Emma chatted with Tan Wenla, she did not put on the slightest star shelf, which made Tan Wenla feel twice as good about it. Soon, the plane landed at Manchester Airport. Out of politeness, Tan Wenla asked Emma, Where are you going? Do you need me to give you a ride? Thank you, my agent will send someone to pick me up, and I have an event in the evening. Okay. The two said goodbye politely and walked out of Manchester Airport. After walking out of the airport, Tan Wenla saw the person who picked up the plane with a sign, David Gill. David. Tan Wenla stepped forward to say hello. David Gill looked at the young man in front of him and said with some curiosity, Are you calling me? Tan Wenla smiled lightly. David, how did it feel to see your boss for the first time? What you, are you the boss? David Gill looked at Tan Wenla with a surprised expression. Tan Wenla shrugged his shoulders and said leisurely, Why, what's wrong? After hearing this, David smiled slightly, put his arm around Tan Wenla's shoulders, and said affectionately, You. Little friend, don't joke with your uncle. Where is your father? Why didn't he come with you? David, the boss behind IBSS, is me, Tan Wenla. You helped me handle all the procedures in the UK, and although you don't know my personal information, but... Saying that, Tan Wenla took out his passport and handed it to David. David took a look and was surprised. Boss, is it really you? Are you only 18 years old? How else? David blinked in surprise, and looked at the passport in his hand, although he still couldn't believe it, but the fact was in front of him. David let go of the arm on Tan Wenla's shoulder, took a small step back, and bowed slightly as a gentleman. Boss, welcome to Manchester. Carrington Training Base, officially known as Trafford Training Centre, is located southwest of Manchester City Centre, 6 miles west of Old Trafford, and you will find a greenery, scenic and very secluded place. You don't see anything unique from the building, nor are there any symbols on it that describe these buildings. However, if you are a true Manchester United fan, when you drive down this secluded path and see the Carrington signpost along the roadside, you will definitely know that in front of the famous Carrington Training Base, the Red Devils Manchester United training ground, known as the heart of Manchester United. For many Manchester United fans, this is a mecca in their hearts. Tan Wenla, led by David, came to the second floor of the training base, which is the high-level office of the club, and the innermost one is the office of the club president, which David had been carefully cleaned a few days ago. David's office is opposite, and the next room is the Manchester United manager's office. When Tan Wenla passed by the head coach's office, he heard some quarrels coming from inside. Tan Wenla said cheerfully, The one who quarreled with people inside should be Lord Fu, right? Who made Lord Ferguson so angry? Chairman, a lot has happened in the team recently. Originally Coach Alex Ferguson was going to pick you up with me, but something happened in the team. I'll take him to apologize to you, and I'll let him come to your office when he's done with what he's doing. After listening to David's words, Tan Wenla nodded and entered his office. David, what happened next door? Can you tell me about it? Of course, my dear chairman. That's right, recently because of Real Madrid's purchase of Cristiano, the Spanish media has frequently put pressure on our club. Originally the club was ready to sell Cristiano, but because of the recent public opinion turmoil, Coach Alex Ferguson has now changed his attention and should now be negotiating with Cristiano. Who said we're going to sell Ronaldo? Tan Wenla looked solemn and said to David Gill in a deep tone. Episode 3. Chairman, we don't want to sell Cristiano Ronaldo either, but it's his personal wish. The club has asked him more than once, but he still insists on seeking a transfer. Moreover, the transfer offer given by Real Madrid is also the highest in history. If it is to sell Cristiano Ronaldo, then our club will have a very good economic income. After listening to David's explanation, Tan Wenla smiled, and then looked at David Gill meaningfully and said, David, you may have made a mistake. David looked at Tan Wenla suspiciously, and asked a little puzzled, Chairman, what problem did I get wrong? Tan Wenla stood up, stared at David with dead eyes, and asked, am I short of money? David didn't understand what Tan Wenla meant, but Muna shook his head. Please take me to Coach Alex Ferguson's office. I want to talk to Cristiano. Good. David took Tan Wenla to Ferguson's office and knocked lightly on the door. Then, a violent voice came from inside. Who, don't you know I'm talking about something? With a click, the door to Ferguson's office was opened from the inside, and the look of displeasure on Ferguson's face eased a little when he saw that it was David Gill. Sir Alex Ferguson, our chairman is here. Ferguson looked around behind David Gill and said, Chairman? Where is he? Tan Wenla coughed lightly with some embarrassment. That, Sir Alex Ferguson, I am your new boss, that is, the chairman in David's mouth. At this time, Ferguson's gaze once again fell on Tan Wenla's body. He just did not see Tan Wenla, but Tan Wenla's age looked a little too young, so Ferguson subconsciously regarded him as a passerby. After hearing Tan Wenla's words, Ferguson threw an inquiring look at David. David nodded seriously to Ferguson. After getting David's approval, Ferguson now feels that the whole world is a little bad. He never thought that the new owner of Manchester United is just a child. No wonder the new owner has not shown up in the past 3 years, and the club has always been run by him and David Gill. After making trouble for a long time, the new chairman of our family, I am afraid that in the past 3 years, he is still studying. Oh shit. Although Ferguson complained to Tan Wenla in his heart, in a gentlemanly manner, Ferguson still extended his hand in a friendly manner and said, welcome the chairman to come and inspect the work. Tan Wenla also politely held Ferguson's old and slightly vicissitudes palm. Sir Ferguson, you have worked hard all these years. After Ferguson heard Tan Wenla's words, he was stunned at first. Because of the chief officer, Ferguson subconsciously regarded Tan Wenla as a super rich second generation who knew nothing about football. Then, Ferguson smiled and said, it's not hard, I already consider this place my home. I just hope that Manchester United can get better and better. Stop standing in the doorway, let's go in and talk, right? At this time, David said in an official tone on the side. Yes, Chairman, please. At David's prompt, Ferguson invited Tan Wenla into his office. When Tan Wenla entered Ferguson's office, he saw Ronaldo sitting at his desk. At this time, Ronaldo was just 23 years old, and under his handsome appearance, there was a rebellious soul. Cristiano? Before David and Ferguson could introduce him, he came to Ronaldo's side by himself and held his hand with some excitement. Ronaldo felt like he was inexplicably held by a small fan, but Ronaldo smiled and stood up and hugged Tan Wenla. Ronaldo said in his heart, this should be a relative of CEO David, his own little fan brother. Today David should have specially brought him to meet himself, right? Cristiano, this is the new president of our club, Mr. Tan Wenla. Ronaldo, who hugged Tan Wenla, inexplicably heard David's words, and he didn't react for a while. What did David just say? The club's new president? Isn't that the new boss? Could it be that Manchester United has been bought again? After hugging Tan Wenla, Ronaldo looked at David suspiciously. He is the boss behind IBSS Group, which won the bid with Malcolm Glazer 3 years ago. Tan Wenla, Ronaldo reacted at this time. It turned out that he was not a little fan brother, but a big boss. Chairman, I'm sorry, I just didn't know it was. Ronaldo said a little apologetically after learning Tan Wenla's identity. It's okay, Cristiano, I'm your little fan. If I say, I bought Manchester United because you're here, do you believe it? After hearing Tan Wenla's words, Ronaldo looked at him with an incredulous and somewhat wooden expression. He wondered if his ears had misheard. A Chinese man would buy the entire Manchester United club because he played at Manchester United? No, he is playing the bitter card with himself. Could it be that he wants to keep himself in this way? Boss, I'm glad you like me so much. It's my pleasure. I've just spoken to Coach Alex Ferguson. I'm going to stay here and play for Manchester United for 1 year. And after a year, if Real Madrid still have the will to sign me, then I'll leave. Sir Alex Ferguson, is Ronaldo's agent at base now? Yes, we talked together just now, and he went out to draw up a contract. Tan Wenla let out a long breath and said, "Phew, fortunately, I came in time today. David, please go and invite Mendez back. I think we need to talk again." Although David didn't know what Tan Wenla was going to do, he was indeed happy to see what Tan Wenla wanted to do. At this time, Ferguson also showed a playful smile. At this time he has exhausted his means, and can only keep Ronaldo for a season. His new boss just arrived today. He does not think that Tan Wenla is capable of keeping Ronaldo, no matter what the reason. Manchester United has offered Ronaldo a salary that is not weaker than Real Madrid, but cannot keep the Portuguese talent. His new boss wants to use this to make a name for himself at the club? This is simply a fantasy. Let him suffer some losses through this matter, and in the future, he can still have enough say in the club. Ferguson doesn't want to see a boss who thinks he is dictating to the entire coaching staff. Episode 4. Ramos, a young player purchased in 05, and Marcelo, bought from Brazil in 06, although their talents are not bad, but under Ferguson's coaching, he still prefers his hand-selected older generation of players, Evra and Brown, because, whether it is Ramos or Marcelo, after all, they don't want Ronaldo to be like Ronaldo. They are personally selected to pick the beam. In Ferguson's mind, there may have always been a certain concern for the two. The two of them have played almost minimal league appearances so far. Ramos is relatively better, although he has not been selected in the Champions League squad, but the league has played a few games. On the other hand, Marcelo was a little miserable, and was directly below Ferguson to the Manchester United U23 echelon. In the past 2 years, he has not been selected in Manchester United's first-team squad. After a while, David returned to Ferguson's office with what he thought was a middle-aged man. David first introduced Tan Wenla to Mendez. When Mendez saw Tan Wenla, he was as surprised as everyone else, and the gap between the new Manchester United president and his imagination was really huge. "Mr. Mendez, about the transfer of Cristiano, I hope we can talk about it." After Tan Wenla shook hands with Mendez, he said straight to the point. Chairman Tan, hasn't Coach Alex Ferguson already negotiated this matter with us? Cristiano has also agreed to continue playing for Manchester United for another year, and after a year, whether he goes or stays, Manchester United will not stop him? No. Dear Mr. Mendez, I think I am the sole shareholder of this club, and I think I still have some say in the matter of Cristiano, right? Mendez laughed. Of course, Cristiano is playing for you, and his contract is ultimately in your hands. Can we sit down and talk? Mendez saw Tan Wenla insisting. In desperation, Mendez had to sit down and say, "Yes, how does Chairman Tan want to talk? First of all, I want to know why Cristiano transferred." Chairman Tan, Cristiano has dreamed of wearing white since he was a child and playing at the Bernabeu. I think everyone here should know this very well. Coach Alex Ferguson signed Cristiano. I told him about it. Mr. Mendez, I are both businessmen. Let's chat or don't participate in such an ethereal topic as dreams. Of course, I respect dreams more, because a person without dreams will not have a goal to strive for all his life, and naturally, he will not succeed. Mendez smiled and said, "Chairman Tan, I don't seem to understand your words. Since you respect dreams, why can't we talk about dreams? Because dreams can seem a little ridiculous in the face of reality." As soon as Tan Wenla's words came out, Ronaldo, who was sitting on the side, interjected with some annoyance. "Chairman Tan, although you are my boss now, I still hope that you can maintain a certain respect for me." "Of course I respect you, otherwise, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you today. Cristiano, let me ask you, do you want to continue your dream of being a child, or do you want to become the greatest footballer in the world to date?" Tan Wenla asked in a word. Ronaldo was suddenly a little speechless. At this time, he did not know how to answer such a question. Seeing this, Mendez on the side said, "Chairman Tan, I think the reason why Cristiano wants to transfer to Real Madrid is precisely because he has the heart to become a great player." "You mean if he stays at Manchester United, he can't be a great player?" Mendez said, "It's not impossible, but the possibility is relatively low. Real Madrid have promised to reinvent the tactical system for Cristiano, and if he goes to Real Madrid, he will be the only core player. Moreover, Real Madrid has always been full of superstars and a dream place for many great players. What if I tell you that Manchester United will also reinvent the tactical system for Cristiano?" "Chairman, I have already told them about this." Ferguson chimed in. "Well, Mr. Mendez, I'm from China, although I don't mind the way I speak, but after all, this matter is about Cristiano's future. I hope you still seriously tell me about the conditions for staying in the team. Sir Alex Ferguson and David Gill can't meet your things. It doesn't mean I can't meet it." Tan Wenla still calmly said to Mendez at this time. It seems that Chairman Tan really likes Ronaldo. Since that's the case, then I'll get straight to the point. Please say, Real Madrid offered Cristiano Ronaldo a contract with a weekly salary of £200,000. Chairman Tan, I don't know how much you know about football. I can explain to you that this contract is equivalent to the world's first annual salary. Mendez explained calmly. After hearing this, Tan Wenla said expressionlessly, "If you sign a contract, how many years will you sign a contract?" Real Madrid offers a contract of 6 years, and if Ronaldo plays for Real Madrid for 6 years, there is a considerable additional bonus for the performance of the contract. What is the prize amount? €2,000. Are there other clauses that are gone? Tan Wenla continued to ask. Mendez shook his head and said, "That's all for now." However, such a contract is already quite generous for Ronaldo, even for a club with a long history like Manchester United. I don't think Chairman Tan will give us a more generous treatment. If so, what if we give? Tan Wenla said lightly. Mendes was a little puzzled, looked at Tan Wenla and then at David Gill on the side. David shrugged his shoulders on the side, saying that he had no right to speak now, and the boss could do whatever he said. Chairman Tan, I would like to hear your opinion. I'm not very used to hearing the word weekly salary now, so let me give you a condition for the two of you to listen to. Mendes and Ronaldo both pricked up their ears, and at this time, they both looked particularly serious. The next 6 years? Ahem. 6 years is a bit short, so in the next 10 years, I can guarantee that Ronaldo will get the world's first annual salary, and if he can play for Manchester United for 10 years, after fulfilling his 10-year contract, Manchester United will give him an additional bonus worth 100 million euros. After Tan Wenla's words, where are Ronaldo and Mendes? David Gill on the side didn't hold back, and subconsciously burst into a foul mouth. Lie in the groove. The owner is awesome. Episode 5, Tan. Chairman Tan, are you serious? Do you think I'm kidding you? Mendes was silent and silently looked at Cristiano on the side. At this time, Ronaldo didn't know what to do, and the two looked at each other for a long time without speaking. David, boss, help me hold a press conference to say that Manchester United will do whatever it takes to keep Cristiano, and that, this summer, Manchester United will sign a superstar to partner Cristiano. Tan. Chairman Tan, what do you mean by that? It's not interesting. I just want to tell everyone about my determination to keep Cristiano. Then you have to sign other superstars. Of course, I want to announce to European football that not only Real Madrid can build a Galaxy warship, we Manchester United can also build a superstar aircraft carrier. Oh yes, no matter what kind of superstar comes to Manchester United, I will still guarantee Cristiano's place in the Manchester United team. Boss, David came to Tan Wenla's side at this time and whispered. What's wrong, David? David Gill whispered in Tan Wenla's ear. Boss, isn't this condition a bit too much? If we set such conditions for Ronaldo, the annual cost of the club will be unimaginable. And, you're going to sign a superstar, are you serious about that? Of course seriously. David Gill was suddenly a little speechless. He seemed to feel that Tan Wenla was a super rich second generation who had money and did not know how to spend it. Okay, David, go prepare for the press conference. Cristiano, I'm sure, you have to trust me. No matter what conditions Real Madrid offer, I will give a higher one. After Tan Wenla finished saying to David Gill, he turned to Mendes and said, of course, the two of you can continue to go back and discuss. It's the vacation period. There is still time for things between us. I let David prepare for the press conference. It's just a simple declaration of war on Real Madrid. Mendes said to himself in surprise, declare war on Real Madrid. Even if you buy Chairman Tan is really a madman. After sending Mendes and Ronaldo away, Ferguson, who had never spoken, finally spoke. Chairman Tan, are you sure you are not joking with everyone what you just said? Dear Sir Alex Ferguson, do you think I'm joking? Lord Ferguson's slightly old face showed a hint of joy and said, I really hope you are not joking, although Manchester United is also a big team, but the previous presidents are not a tool to make money. If Manchester United can have a rich president, the future Manchester United may really become the #1 club in history. Sir Alex Ferguson, I need to correct you, not maybe, definitely. That's what I need to do and must do when I buy Manchester United. Ferguson said with a smile. Chairman Tan, do you know what Manchester United is behind from being the first in history? 8 Champions League trophies. Oh no, now it should be only 7. Chairman Tan, 7 Champions League titles, even 7 consecutive championships, take 7 years. Do you really think the Champions League is so easy to win? Ferguson looked at Tan Wenla seriously and asked. Tan Wenla faced a serious Ferguson, but smiled and said, Dear Sir Ferguson, how old am I? Ferguson was stunned, and then laughed happily. Ha ha ha, yes, our president of Manchester United seems to be only 18 years old this year. I hope that 10 years later, you will still have the ambition you have today. Okay, Sir Alex Ferguson, I think the two of us can get down to business now. What does Chairman Tan want to talk about? Establishment. I want to hear your opinion. First of all, I can say to you with conviction, Ronaldo, I will not let it go. Please believe this. Of course, specific things. I still hope that you can continue to communicate with him. You don't have to worry about the problem of funds. Even if Manchester United's existing funds are insufficient, I can still add 200 to 300 million euros in transfer funds. Wow, my God, Chairman Tan, do you know how much money you have in your Manchester United account? I didn't ask how much specifically. After I successfully acquired, I spoke with David on the phone, and I told him at that time that I would not participate in any management of the club within 3 years. Everything was entrusted to him, and the transfer issue was also entrusted to you and David. I don't seem to know how much money our club has now. Chairman Tan, in the past 3 years since you purchased all the shares of the team has won a league runner-up and 2 league championships. This year, we just won the Champions League. In addition to all the necessary expenses of the club, The funds that can be appropriated by the club have exceeded 500 million euros. It's just that David dare not use this money at will, except for the 2 players you bought with private funds in recent years. David and I still manage and operate the team according to the original business model. If you take away the 500 million euros, it won't affect the team too much. Dear Sir Alex Ferguson, don't test me again. I said that I will definitely keep Cristiano. I will definitely support you. Let's talk about the establishment of the team. Tan Wenlo looked at Ferguson and felt that he was more and more old and cunning. Hee, Chairman Tan, the 2 young players you bought are very talented. I really didn't expect your vision to be more tricky than some scouts in our club. To be honest, I want to hear what you have to suggest first. You can compliment me, but I do have some ideas. Ferguson looked at Tan Wenla and smiled without speaking. He seemed to have guessed that Tan Wenla had an idea in his heart. Last year's Champions League, we lost to AC Milan, right? Ferguson shook his head after hearing this. No, we didn't lose to AC Milan, we lost to Kaka. Without Kaka, last year's tournament, I would have been confident of beating Milan or even winning the final title, Ferguson said here, as if he had thought of something, and looked at Tan Wenla with some doubt. This time it was Tan Wenla's turn to laugh and say nothing, and Ferguson looked at Tan Wenla with a bad smile and said, "Are you trying to introduce Kaka?" Episode 6. There is indeed a plan, and now we need to consider that Kakashi is not suitable for your tactical system. Ferguson fell into deep thought after receiving confirmation from Tan Wenla. After thinking for a while, he took out a thick book from his desk and opened it very seriously. Tan Wenla sat on the side and did not disturb Ferguson. Ferguson seemed to have watched for a long time, and after thinking for a long time, he slowly raised his head and said, "If Kaka is introduced, it will have a huge impact on the original planning and structure of the entire team." "Do you mean you don't want to bring in Kaka?" Ferguson shook his head and said, "No, a player like Kaka, I don't think any coach will hate him. I would be happy to bring him in to play for us. But after bringing Kaka, I need to replan the overall structure of the team and the tactical play. At that time, Manchester United's overall attacking power will become more creative and ornamental. However, there will also be big drawbacks. If Ronaldo, Kaka, and Rooney play at the same time, their attack will naturally be flawless, but there will be big problems in defense. Nemanja Vidic and Rio Ferdinand are a certain age, and creating too much defensive pressure on them is dangerous for a team like ours that needs to maintain a high intensity and a tight schedule. Sir Alex Ferguson, if I'm not mistaken, you're trying to tell me that if you bring in Kaka, you need to bring in multiple midfielders at the same time to fight the pressure on the team, right? Hee, I'm really strange, Chairman Tan. Are you really only 18 years old? Ferguson looked at Tan Wenla and couldn't help but smile. Lord Fergus, now is not the time to laugh. The transfer period will soon pass. Let's see what kind of players you need. Actually, there is a Korean player named Park Ji-sung in the team now. He is quite good, but if the game is too intensive, he may not be able to survive, and his technical level is far from reaching the level of the first line. But this kid has strong execution and is very easy to use. Chelsea's Eschen, the defense is very fierce. If you can introduce Kaka, he is indeed a good choice, but the price of Eschen, I'm afraid not cheap, and Chelsea's owner does not seem to be bad money. Oh. Sir Alex Ferguson, today is the first time the two of us have met. Can you make some good impressions on me? Tan Wenla sat opposite Ferguson, covered his forehead, and said with some self-deprecation. Ferguson was happy like a child, and the old man talked for a long time, until David Gill returned to Ferguson's office after preparing the press conference. "What are you two talking about? So happy. Hey David, why did you go for so long?" Ferguson smiled heartily, pulled away the chair beside him, and let David sit down. "Chairman Tan, Sir Alex Ferguson, it seems that you guys are having a good chat. Yes, I am very happy today, no matter what decision Ronaldo will make in the end, but, in Chairman Tan, I see the future of Manchester United." David heard that Ferguson had such a high admiration for Tan Wenla, which made him have to re-examine his new boss. "David, the talented midfielder in Croatia's Dinamo Zagreb, yes, it's the young man named Modric. Raising our offer, Chairman Tan has spoken. This young man, no matter what the price our club pays, we will bring him to Old Trafford. Let our scouts pay attention to the striker of League One Lyon, whose name is Benzema. Also, Tottenham's left-back, the youngster named Gareth Bale. Let the agent team try to communicate and see if they can be signed. And the players that the club focuses on bringing in this summer window, this is up to you to talk about. Chelsea's Eschen, AC Milan's Kaka." David Gill sat between the two, listening to Ferguson Balabala say a bunch of names. However, hearing the end, David widened his eyes and looked at the two incredulously. "AC Milan's Kaka? Are you sure? David, don't be at a loss, show some energy, be hopeful for the future. Chairman Tan just said that he wants to lead Manchester United to become the first club in history. Such a boss, such a long-cherished wish, you and I must go all out to help him complete, do you understand? Brother." Saying that, Ferguson patted David the shoulder, trying to wake him up from his thoughts. Understood. By the way, David, I suddenly had an idea." At this time, Tan Wenla suddenly spoke. After hearing Tan Wenla's words, Ferguson and David looked at him in unison. "In this way, you first go and contact Kaka's agent, and then I will go with you to Milan City. By the way, Cristiano and Mendes. Use the star to invite the star. Such a thing has never happened before. Well, a good way to kill two birds with one stone. Cristiano Ronaldo, I'll inform him, David, you can just buy a ticket when the time comes. Since David entered the office, he has been dominated by the two, and he seems to have no time to react, and he has inexplicably arranged a large number of tasks. By the way, Chairman Tan, there will be a commercial event in the evening, and the heads of several sponsors will be present. Do you think you have time to participate together? Yes. To make money, Tan Wenla naturally would not refuse, and agreed very happily. Okay, then it's decided. After a press conference, I will go to the event with you, and I will go and communicate with the other side in advance. In the press conference room of the Carrington training base, as usual, after learning that Manchester United was going to hold an emergency press conference, media reporters naturally rushed over. They did not want to miss the big news. A large number of media reporters have poured in. Backstage, because today's press conference is live, so David specially instructed Tan Wenla about the specific process. After that, Tan Wenla followed this David Gill into the scene of the press conference. The scene of the commotion instantly quieted down, and countless doubtful eyes looked at Tan Wenla behind David Gill. Under the attention of everyone, Tan Wenla did not seem nervous at all, and he calmly walked up to the rostrum and sat down. Episode 7. The reporters below speculated with doubts about the identity of this Tan Wenla. Could it be that this is the genius young general discovered by the old lord in the East? Could it be that he is here to replace Cristiano Ronaldo? The people on the stage were seated one after another, and the media reporters in the audience began to look for their own places with question marks in their hearts. And when everyone was ready, everyone was waiting for the start of the press conference. David Gill bowed slightly to Tan Wenla on the side, and after seeing Tan Wenla nodded slightly, David got up and said, "The press conference is the beginning." With David's speech, many media reporters underground began to take pictures one after another, clicking flashes, and began to shoot wildly at several people on the stage. You must be very curious today why we suddenly held this press conference. First of all, on behalf of Manchester United Football Club, I would like to respond to the recent public opinion that Real Madrid has paid a lot of money for our Cristiano Ronaldo, and even publicly claimed that we treat players as slaves. I would like to state that we do not impose restrictive demands on any player, and Manchester United fully respect Cristiano Ronaldo's personal wishes. When David Gill finished speaking, the reporters below began to raise their hands. Hello, I'm a reporter from the Derby County Daily. May I ask, according to what you just said, can I understand that Manchester United has agreed to sell Cristiano Ronaldo? At this time, David just wanted to say something, but Tan Wenla on the side patted him on the back. Immediately, David said into the microphone, "This question, there is our chairman, Mr. Tan Wenla, to answer it for you." After David finished speaking, he gave the microphone to Tan Wenla on the side. "Hello journalist friend, let me answer your question like this. Cristiano is not for sale. No matter how much Real Madrid bids, Manchester United will not sell it." "Hello, I'm a reporter from the Times, just CEO David Gill, calling you the chairman? Are you the boss behind the massive takeover of Manchester United 3 years ago?" "Yes." As Tan Wenla personally admitted, there was a riot at the press conference, and all the media reporters were taken aback. David Gill, who was sitting next to Tan Wenla, saw the chaos below, so he opened his mouth and confirmed, "Everyone, this person next to me is the one who completed the acquisition of all Manchester United shares 3 years ago, and now Mr. Tan Wenla is the sole owner of Manchester United." I'm leaning, is it really him? All the media reporters at the scene seemed to be a little crazy. This new owner seems to be about 20 years old. At first, everyone thought that he was some kind of demon that Lord Fu fancy, and today he specially brought him out to show his face. As a result, he turned out to be the behind-the-scenes boss of Manchester United. Earthquake. This is definitely big news of earthquake magnitude. However, Tan Wenla and David Gill and others on the stage are all serious. Even at this time, Manchester United staff handed over a shirt. A red number 0 Leeds United shirt. The back of the shirt is printed with Wenla Tan. All this shows that Tan Wenla is a real Manchester United owner. The reporters at the scene were in an uproar. They all felt that the world was crazy. The media present can even predict what tomorrow's front page will be like. The media reporters below have not yet come out of their shocked emotions and are confused. Tan Wenla fiddled with the microphone in front of him, and in front of the Sky Sports camera, said calmly, "I know what you are thinking, gentlemen and ladies." Tan Wenla's words brought everyone back from their shocked emotions. "I know you don't believe in such a great club. Why is the owner a hairy boy? Of course, at the beginning I was not sure that I could buy it, but now that's the way it is. I have succeeded in becoming the owner of this great club, and I am equally confident in leading Manchester United to a greater dynasty, a dynasty for Manchester United fans." After listening to Tan Wenla's words, at this time, another reporter raised his hand and asked, "Hello, I am a reporter from Sky Sports. I want to ask Tan Chairman, what do you think of Real Madrid's big bid to buy Cristiano Ronaldo?" This journalist friend, I seem to have answered this question clearly. Cristiano is not for sale for Manchester United. Chairman Tan, let me ask an offense. Are you holding this press conference today? Are you sure that it is not to raise the value of Cristiano Ronaldo? There is no comment on this question. Please ask the next reporter. David covered Tan Wenla's microphone at this time and answered first. And Tan Wenla on the side glanced at David. What can't be answered about this? David lowered his head and whispered, "Boss, that person is clearly trying to embarrass you. There is no need to pay attention to him. It's okay, I don't answer questions the first time I attend the press conference, and the outside world still thinks I'm a big shelf." David saw that Tan Wenla was full of confidence, so he no longer obstructed. "This Sky Sports journalist friend, I can answer you like this. Even if Real Madrid offers 200 million euros, I will not sell Cristiano. We are not short of those 200 million spare money. Oh yes, I can give you an extra message that we are ready to offer Rio Messi to FC Barcelona." Tan Wenla's words once again caused an uproar at the scene, and everyone was introducing the authenticity of this matter. The Sky Sports reporter laughed at this time. "Chairman Tan, Manchester United really want to offer Messi? How much will be your club's first-round offer? You know, Messi is also not for sale for FC Barcelona. The minimum price in the first round will not be less than 100 million. 100 million? The Sky Sports reporter was stunned after hearing Tan Wenla's words. You know, for this world football that has not yet opened the golden yuan era, so far, there has not been a transaction amount of more than 100 million yuan for that player. Originally, Ronaldo's transfer to Real Madrid was the world's first transaction price at that time. At that time, it was only 9,600 euros, 8,000 W pounds. And Tan Wenla opened his mouth at such a hurried press conference, and said, "I want to use 100 million yuan to offer Leo Messi." Everyone present thought that Tan Wenla was joking. "Chairman Tan, are all Huaxia people like you who like to talk about it?" The Sky Sports reporter stood there politely and asked sarcastically, "This gentleman from Sky Sports, what is your name?" "Toined by Blaze." "Oh, good, today's press conference is live. I think all Manchester United fans, even some Chinese fans who love Manchester United, will see the content of today's press conference. Soon the news will be announced. Your question just now not only satirizes the Chinese people, but also satirizes the economic strength of Manchester United clubs. Here, on my own behalf, in 3 days, Laporta's desk will have a transfer offer worth 100 million pounds, as long as Laporta dares to sign. Next season, Leo Messi will appear at Old Trafford wearing Manchester United's number 10 shirt. And, for this transfer, I will not use the existing funds of Manchester United club. I will refund Manchester United to complete this transfer deal." Episode 8. The media reporters in the audience, after listening to Tan Wenla's words, once again fell into restlessness. This time, compared to the previous times, the movement seems to be even greater. And Toined by Blaze, who stood there motionless with the microphone, was flushed, and at this time, he seemed to realize what he had just said, and seemed to offend people. The restless scene suddenly came from outside. Outside the press room, there seemed to be a crowd of Manchester United fans club. They really heard what Tan Wenla said in the venue just now, and these fans seemed to be a little unable to hold their mood, and they had to use this way to express their support for Tan Wenla? Or is it a satire on Toynbee Blaze? Several security guards soon arrived outside, ready to evict the fans who had just whistled. At this time, Tan Wenla also seemed to notice what was happening outside, so Tan Wenla got up and said to everyone at the scene, "Sorry, please wait a moment." After that, Tan Wenla walked towards the door of the venue. Before Tan Wenla reached the door, he clearly heard his name shouting outside, "Tan Wenla, Tan Wenla, Tan Wenla, Tan Wenla, we love you." The fans shouted rhythmically. Even after being expelled by security personnel, they did not give up shouting. "Stop, stop, let go." Tan Wenla shouted loudly. The security guards who carried out the eviction work stopped one after another. At this time, David Gill also followed, shouting, "Kyle. Kyle," a middle-aged guy with a cap, squeezed out from behind the crowd. "I'm sorry, Mr. David." The man named Kyle walked up to David and apologized repeatedly. "How do you organize discipline? Today the chairman is attending the press conference for the first time. You are embarrassing me like this, right?" David reprimanded Kyle angrily. "Well, David, they are all fans of our club, you know, the craziest fans in the world, they are them. I like Manchester United, I like them, I hope they can also like me. But, boss, don't be." David's words were once again interrupted by Tan Wenla. Tan Wenla looked at the hundreds of fans outside, did not have the slightest fear, raised his feet and walked towards the crowd. Seeing this, David hurriedly glared at Kyle and said, "Hurry up and follow. If something happens to the boss, you kid will be finished." "Oh yes yes yes." At this time, Tan Wenla shuttled through the crowd, constantly greeting, hugging, and chatting with everyone. "Do you like Cristiano? I like him so much. But, now I like you more, my dear. Oh no, no, no. My lovely sir." A female fan hugged Tan Wenla with some excitement, bouncing and shouting. Later, Tan Wenla asked several fans in a row, they hope that Ronaldo can stay. Everyone's answer is the same, of course they want Ronaldo to stay. Let's shout together, "Cristiano, let him stay, okay? Good, good, good. Cristiano, Cristiano, Cristiano." For a while, the entire Carrington Arena fell into a state of madness. The reporters at the press conference also followed out to photograph the scene. Because it was a live broadcast, it seemed that it didn't take long for more and more fans in front of Carrington Arena. In less than 20 minutes, more than 1,000 people poured in front of the entire Carrington Arena. David also had a headache in an instant, and then quickly summoned more security personnel, and in order to prevent fans from making any more crazy moves, he even called the local police station and asked them to send someone to assist with the security work. A reporter from the Manchester Evening News even poured into the crowd, cheering with the crowd again and again, conducting this live interview. At this time, Ronaldo himself and Mendes also seemed to know the situation at the door of Carrington Arena, and the two of them quietly lurked not far away to watch the scene. Ronaldo was far, far away when he heard people chanting his name. When Ronaldo saw clearly what was happening at the scene, his whole person was a little numb. Isn't the one standing in the middle of the crowd the new boss I just met today? How dare he play like that with the fans? Cristiano, only Manchester United, fuck the money. Tan Wenla also seemed to have overdone some carnival in the crowd, and shouted loudly and unscrupulously, "Crazy, crazy, this kid is a crazy person." Mendes was in a good state of mind at this time, and seeing Tan Wenla shouting in the crowd so crazy, he couldn't help but curse Tan Wenla. Is he really a madman? Ronaldo looked at the crazy Tan Wenla in the crowd, and looked at the Tan Wenla who was shouting Cristiano in the crowd like Manchester United fans. Ronaldo suddenly remembered the words that Tan Wenla said to himself when he first met him, "I bought Manchester United club because of you." Did he really buy the whole Manchester United team because of me? Ronaldo stood aside and muttered. After hearing Ronaldo's words, Mendes on the side couldn't help but say, "What do you think? He is a businessman, and businessmen seek profits. You still have use value for him now. He wants to sign a 10-year contract with you. 10 years later, how old are you? 33 years old. Are you really going to dedicate your whole life to Manchester United? Ferguson is my mentor, Manchester is my home for me. Should I really leave my own home and these people who love me for my dreams? And oh, Cristiano, you can't shake. Dear Mr. Mendes, I am where I am today because you ran for me in the first place, since you can send me here. So, let me honor my heart today and make a choice. I know that if I can move to Real Madrid, you will get a good referral fee, which I will pay for you from my salary." Oh no, Cristiano, did you really think about it? Ronaldo looked at Mendes, nodded heavily, and then walked towards David Gill. Wow, Cristiano. The first time Ronaldo appeared, he was discovered by Manchester United fans. With the shouts of everyone, Tan Wenla also saw Ronaldo, who appeared in front of everyone. At this time, a smile appeared at the corner of Tan Wenla's mouth, and he said in his heart, "You still came out after all." Episode 9. As soon as Ronaldo appeared, security guards surrounded him until they escorted him to David Gill. "Director." Ronaldo greeted David. After David saw Ronaldo, he hurriedly said to the staff next to him, "Hurry up and go to the crowd and bring the chairman out." After a while, Tan Wenla walked out of the crowd under the escort of several staff members. "Cristiano, do you believe me now? You crazy. You're really crazy." Ronaldo looked at Tan Wenla and showed his signature smile. Subsequently, Ronaldo took the initiative to step forward and gave Tan Wenla a big hug. "Chairman, I am willing to continue to play for Manchester United." Tan Wenla looked up at Ronaldo and asked, "Are you serious? Got it? Not leaving?" Ronaldo nodded heavily. "Think about it, just like you just said, fuck the money. I'm going to stay and continue to fight for these fans who love me. David, please get a microphone." "Chairman, I'm ready." Saying that, the staff beside David handed a microphone that had been prepared long ago to Tan Wenla. "Hey, supporters of Manchester United fans, hello everyone, I am a new member of you, my name is Tan Wenla. Now, I have good news to tell you. Cristiano has just made a decision. He is going to stay and continue to drive at Old Trafford in the red shirt. Please use your enthusiastic voice to cheer his name, Cristiano Ronaldo." With Tan Wenla's shout, he was now on a wild shout again. Crazy Manchester United fans, shouting the full name of this Cristiano Ronaldo. Afterwards, crazy Manchester United fans sang the Manchester United song in front of Carrington Arena. "Glory belongs to Manchester United. Glory belongs to Manchester United. Glory belongs to Manchester United." The Red Legion marched forward. Just like those Busby's children at one time. "We want the flag of the Red Devils to fly high. You will see it with your own eyes everywhere. You will hear people singing proudly, United. Man United. Manchester United. Manchester United. We are the Red Boy and we are on our way to Wembley. 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 We are the great Manchester United and we are on the road to Wembley. All mankind knows who we are. All will sing the song, Queen's Blood. Manchester United. Manchester United." Tan Wenla dragged Ronaldo outside the Carrington Arena, and after partying with the fans for nearly an hour, he finally left under the persuasion of David Gill. The carnival in front of Carrington ended, but excited fans had poured into the streets of Manchester. At the Manchester Hotel, Emma Watson also heard a roar coming from outside. "Sister Ray, what's going on outside? What are they shouting?" They seem to be shouting an Oriental name, Tan Wenla? Tan Wenla?" After hearing this name, Emma instantly remembered the Oriental boy she met on the plane today, who was about the same age as herself. Emma got up curiously and looked at the crowd outside. It seemed that they were really shouting Tan Wenla, but Emma didn't understand what was happening. In the evening, David brought Tan Wenla to the Hilton Hotel, and at the invitation of Tan Wenla, Ronaldo also came with them to participate in this event. Before entering the hall, David Gill explained to Tan Wenla, "Boss, Today is a charity party. The big guys from all walks of life in the circle will come to participate. The mainstream sponsor of our club next season. I have several alternative companies, and the heads of these companies will basically come today. I'll be inside in a moment, and I'll find an opportunity to introduce you. Tan Wenla listened to David's words and nodded on the side. Cristiano, how do you feel? Ronaldo sorted out his suit and looked a little detained. Oh my god, the first time I participated in such an event, I was a little nervous. Tan Wenla smiled and said, actually, it's my first time. The three said and smiled and walked into the lobby of the Hilton Hotel, and as soon as they entered the hall, they were frantically photographed by some reporters. It may be that Ronaldo's influence on Manchester United is too huge, and it was originally just a few reporters simply taking pictures of him. But later, some female stars who participated in the event, after seeing Ronaldo, came up to him for a photo. Ronaldo is still familiar with such a scene, but Tan Wenla is a little uncomfortable with being taken crazy by the camera. Say hello to David Gill and go to the bathroom. Phew. His grandmother dropped. It's not a good thing to have a big reputation. Tan Wenla finished going to the toilet, and when he washed his hands in the bathroom, he couldn't help but complain in his mouth. At this time, a middle-aged man in his 30s was washing his hands next to Tan Wenla, and after hearing Tan Wenla's words, he smiled and asked, Huaxia people? Yes. Wow, today's party is really powerful. Even the rich businessmen of Huaxia have been invited. Hello, my name is Kevin Feige, you can call me Kevin. Hello, my name is Tan Wenla. Tan Wenlu. Offensive ask, afternoon. There are a lot of people shouting in the street. Your name? It seems to be, right? Tan Wenla said with an embarrassed smile. Hee hee, they seem to adore you. Nothing, I just did something that made them happy. Oh, yes. Haha, nice to meet you, guy who can get Chester into a binge. Kevin laughed and held out his hand. Tan Wenla politely held Kevin's hand and said, hee hee. I don't know if you're praising me or laughing at me, boss. Just as the two exchanged pleasantries, David came over quickly and shouted loudly, David, what's wrong? Boss, it's time to enter. The venue is on the second floor. I'm afraid you won't find it, so I came to pick you up. Oh, okay, let's go. Kevin? David, long time no see. Hee hee, it's been a long time since I saw you, you guy, since becoming the president of Marvel Studios, rarely come out to participate in events. David and Kevin next to Tan Wenla said hello with a smile, and the two seemed to have known each other for a long time. Boss, his name is Kevin, I'm a good friend of mine, working as a producer in Hollywood in the United States. Boss. David he is? Kevin heard David call boss Tan Wenla. So he cast an inquiring look at David, the sole owner of Manchester United Club, Mr. Tam Boon Lock. David solemnly introduced the true identity of Tan Wenla for Kevin. Even Micah, you are the mysterious boss who bought Manchester United 3 years ago? After hearing David's introduction, Kevin couldn't help but exclaim. Episode 10. Even Micah, you are the mysterious boss who bought Manchester United 3 years ago? After hearing David's introduction, Kevin couldn't help but exclaim. Huh. It's me. Oh my god, respected Tan, it is my honor to know you. Kevin, I just heard David say that you are the president of Marvel Studios? Does Mr. Tan also know about us at Marvel Studios? Kevin showed a gentlemanly smile and looked at Tan Wenla kindly and said. Tan Wenla thought to himself, I know too much about Meow. In the next 10 years, the American film industry will become the world of Marvel, and in the last life, I was a standard Marvel fan. Ding. System task release. Negotiate with Kevin Feige about the investment cooperation of the film Iron Man 2. The negotiation is successful. The system unlocks the Super Film and Television Industry Investment Module. Reward. Initial film and television investment amount, US dollars. After Tan Wenla heard the system's prompt tone, he instantly became excited. System, what is the Super Film and Television Industry Investment Module? Can you talk about it? The Super Film and Television Investment Module is an ancillary product presented by the system that can help the host convert assets more quickly. The host invests in the film, the profit exceeds 20%, and the system unlocks the corresponding profit funds. The host invests in the film, the profit exceeds 100%, and the system unlocks the corresponding profit fund of 200%. Tan Wenla heard the explanation of the system, and his mind did not turn for a while. Hypothesis. The host invests 100 million costs, and finally makes a profit of 120 million, throws away 100 million principal, and makes a profit of 20 million. The system will reward the host with an additional 20 million cash to your private account, and the host can use it at will, without system restrictions. Lying groove, now I obey the order, this is good. Tan Wenla is now the big boss of Manchester United, but there is not much money he can use. Because all of Tan Wenla's funds are all gifted by the system, Tan Wenla can only be used for the club's investment. He is to buy a popsicle, and now he has to take it directly from Manchester United's profit account, and Tan Wenla is uncomfortable. Kevin, I haven't read Marvel's comics, I like them very much, how can I not know you Marvel? It turns out that Mr. Tan is still a comic book fan, and I am glad that Mr. Tan can like our company's comics. By the way, Kevin, are you making movies now? Yes, last year we successfully made Iron Man into a movie, and this film has entered the final stage of filming and will soon be completed. Wow, it's really a shame. Why did Mr. Tan say that? Hee, such a good work, I feel that it will definitely sell. Alas, if we can meet last year, I may have the opportunity to become your investor. Tan Wenla likes Marvel movies, and naturally knows what dilemma Marvel was in 08. Before Marvel filmed Iron Man, it couldn't get a little money to start the project. Finally, it seems that the person in front of him, the president of Marvel Studios, Kevin Feige, mortgaged all the characters under Marvel to the bank, and filmed Iron Man 1 from the bank loan. However, just listening to the meaning of Kevin Feige's words, Iron Man 1 seems to be about to finish filming, so it seems that it is not far from release. No wonder the task given by the system is to let me negotiate with Kevin to invest in the filming of Iron Man 2. Mr. Tan, I think we really hate to meet each other. If only I could have known you earlier. Mr. Tan, may I invite you upstairs to sit down? Of course you can, I'm more than happy to do it. After that, Tan Wenla walked into the hall of the charity party, surrounded by David and Kevin. Before the party starts, it is actually a place to socialize. Ronaldo seems to be born with a social aura, and he is radiant everywhere he goes. As soon as Tan Wenla walked into the hall, he saw Ronaldo chatting with male and female stars. Kevin took Tan Wenla and David to a secluded corner and sat down. Then, Kevin began to complain to Tan Wenla. It probably means that after Kevin became the CEO of Marvel Studios last year, he was investing everywhere to prepare for the film Iron Man. However, the big guys in the circle don't seem to be very optimistic about Marvel's production strength. In the end, Kevin had no choice but to mortgage all the comic book characters under Marvel's name to the bank, and borrowed $140 million from the bank to invest in the movie Iron Man. If it succeeds, Marvel can rise up, and if it fails, the entire Marvel studio industry will be completely tarnished and reduced to the product of others. Kevin, I'm more interested in Marvel's film and television investment. Can you tell me, Marvel will not continue to produce new movies in the future? Or is there a new investment plan? In fact, Marvel Studios is now in a relatively embarrassing stage. If the investment of every movie, to gamble like a broken cauldron, for the development of Marvel, formed a great limitation. Mr. Tan, in fact, I am dissatisfied with you saying that the board of directors of Marvel is already considering selling Marvel Studios as a whole. Oh? That's how it is. After Tan Wenla heard the news, he quickly thought in his mind. He is trying to recall the memories of his past life, because, for the sale of Marvel as a whole, Tan Wenla has an impression. He remembers that Marvel seems to have been sold to Disney as a whole. However, the specific price Tan Wenla is not very clear. Kevin, may I ask how much money your board is going to sell Marvel Studios? The minimum will not be less than $4 billion. Today, I came to this event, in fact, to ask Warner for a price. After listening to Kevin's words, Tan Wenla fell into thought. Tan Wenla's interest in Marvel is still relatively large. After all, he knows very well what Marvel's development will be like in the next 10 years, and just saying that the Avengers 4 part is enough to make himself profitable, not to mention a series of other movies in the Marvel universe. However, the acquisition of Marvel Studios requires $4 billion. Even if he mortgages Manchester United to the bank loan, I am afraid that he will not be able to win Marvel. Ding. The system detects that the host is experiencing confusion, and the system activates the super gamble loan for the host. The host loanable credit account is €10 billion.